Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I am going to be ranking every Harry Potter character. This was a video that was requested years ago when I ranked every Star Wars character, and it's a video that has been re-requested since last week I, talked about some Harry Potter characters, so I figured, why not? I do want to say I've read the books, I've watched the movies, I love Harry Potter. And this is also something I've actually watched my entire life, not just, in the last, 3 years. Real quick before we start, you guys know my plugs. Don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel or Prize Picks. You can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all I got. Let's get into ranking the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Alright folks, so here's the tier list we're working with today, and we've got a lot of characters, so we're gonna have to get going pretty fluently, but we gotta always run through the tier list. So, starting at the top, we've got the wizards and witches and, well, muggles who are true goats. Below that, we've got the great people. In the middle, we've got the fine characters, the ones that, I didn't mind. Under that, we've got the characters where, well, they bothered me. And bottoming out this list, we've got the characters that I absolutely hate. Simple enough. All right, cool. Let's begin with Mad Eye Moody. I know some of these might be small pictures, so I'll do my best to explain it. Mad Eye Moody was fine. I mean, obviously in the Goblet of Fire, it wasn't really him majority of the movie. Then after that, he just kind of seems like a psychopath. But he protects Harry, so he's cool with me. After that, we've got Albus Dumbledore, the headmaster. He is a true goat. Not only is he the most powerful and best sorcerer in the world, but this man gave it all for Harry. This man gave it all to take down he who must not be named. Also, he just reminded me of one of those dope old guys. He always knew what was going on, and he just let a lot of shit slide. After that, we've got Mr. Filch. I actually like Filch. I mean, he's obviously not supposed to be a good character, but he's just an insane caretaker that just chases kids around all day and accuses them of shit. Now we've got Arthur Weasley. Great guy. He's kind of an idiot, kind of a git, as Ron would say, but great guy. After that, we've got Barty Crouch Jr. I hate him. Pretty sure he's just in number 4 as far as films go, but he's just a piece of shit, man. Got sent to prison for supporting Voldemort, and then his mother's dying wish was that he was freed from prison to maybe have a life turnaround, and he ended up just pretty much killing his dad and going right back to Voldemort. And now we've got Barty Crouch Sr. He was fine, but I'm pretty sure majority of the time we saw him, it wasn't him actually acting under his own will. He was under the impediment curse. Moving on, we got Bellatrix Lestrange. Absolute raging bitch. One of the most hated characters in history, and I actually forgot to even put her on my top 10 list because I was so focused on hating Umbridge. I wish to this day Harry would have just blasted this bitch to death, man. When she killed Sirius Black, it still almost brings me to tears. One of the saddest moments of the entire franchise. Also tortured Neville's parents as well, just to throw that out there. Now we've got, I believe this is Bill Weasley. He's fine. He kind of comes and goes, becomes more of a prominent character later on, but I don't have as big of a connection with him. Now we got Cedric Diggory, my boy. Cedric was a goat, man. He was a Hufflepuff prefect, I think a head boy. He was slaying Cho Chang, and then he was murdered in cold blood. Speaking of Cho Chang, she's up next. She's fine. I mean, every time you see her, she's either awkward or she's crying, and no in between. That'll bring us to Colin Creevey. He bothers the living hell out of me. Harry Potter, can I take a picture? In the books, his little brother comes to school, and he's just as bad. His name is Dennis, I think. After that, we go on to one of the 2 characters on this list that I do not recognize because I almost think that they're from the Crimes of Griswold series. I don't know who this guy is. And just to get the other guy out of the way, I don't know who this guy is. Anyway, moving on, we got Mr. Fudge. I hate him to a T. He's the Minister of Magic, and he is telling everybody that Voldemort isn't back when he is because he just doesn't want to believe it because he's too arrogant and he doesn't want to scare everybody. Then we got my boy, Dean Thomas. The blood doesn't talk. He doesn't say shit, man. He's fine, he just doesn't talk. Now moving on, we got Dobby. He bugged me so much in the second movie and book that I really hated him pretty much until, spoiler alert, he dies. By Bellatrix, too. I'm just gonna say he's fine. He had wonderful intentions. He loved Harry Potter, but he is such an annoying character. He's like a Jar Jar Binks. Okay, maybe not that bad, but pretty close. That'll bring us to Umbridge. I hate the shit out of her. Just talked about her last week. The biggest Karen in the world. She is meant to be one of the most unlikable people, and I think she is. I have not ever seen a person defend her. Now we got Draco Malfoy. I'm gonna say he bothers me because even though I do notoriously hate his guts for 90% of the franchise, if you watch all the movies and especially read all the books, at the end becomes a pretty likable dude. Now we've got Dudley. Bothered me, but again, you know, you spend the first 6 books really hating his guts. He's Harry's stepbrother. He's a muggle. He's a snob. He's a fat bastard. But then towards the very end, especially again in the books, he has a little bit of a turning point where he kind of shows a little appreciation towards Harry and that he doesn't just think Harry's a lousy piece of shit. That'll bring us to Flitwick, who got a complete makeover. I think he's a great character. I love him. He's the dwarf teacher. He's the one that you'll see occasionally just getting levitated or blasted across the room, or he's crowd surfing. Like, he's just kind of a fun character to have. Now we've got Fleur Decolore or Delacour. She was fine, but she was a real bitch until Harry saved her sister, so that kind of bugs me about her. Now we got Fred and George Weasley. Goats. The comedy of this series. You need people like them in every serious series out there. They're always making jokes, always making the watcher laugh, but also 2 relatively important characters in the entire story. Now we got Ginny. This is Ginny, right? Ginny's great. She starts off, you know, really quiet, really shy. You don't really have an opinion of her, and then as the story evolves, as she, you know, and Harry kind of grow closer, her character grows more significant, and you really do begin to like her. That'll bring us to Harry Potter himself. Obviously, he's the GOAT. He's the boy who lived. The whole story is about him. If you don't like Harry, then you probably don't like Harry Potter, the story. That'll bring us to Hedwig. Fine, it's an owl. Now we got Hermione Granger. I would say she's a GOAT, but sometimes her know-it-all persona can really annoy me, and it just drives her down a peg. Nobody likes people like that, man. Even though we all love ourselves a little Hermione, nobody likes know-it-alls. Now we've got Kravik or whatever. This was the leader for Durmstrang. Also was a Death Eater, also ratted away Voldemort, also a huge pussy on the run. I hated his guts. He's a coward. That'll bring us to James Potter. James was fine. I can't say GOAT because as a child, he was a huge asshole to Snape, like a huge fucking prick. Lavender Brown, she bugs me. She was annoying. She was just obsessed with Ron. Kind of a weird role in the franchise altogether. Now we got Lily Potter. Lily was a GOAT. She was the only one who was nice to Snape. Snape was in love with her. She also gave her life for Harry. She is the reason that Harry survived. Which will bring us to Lord Voldemort himself. Listen, fantastic villain. One of the best villains of all time, but with that being said, I hated his guts. This guy's an ass. He was literally a wizard that was so good, so powerful, that convinced himself only pureblood should be able to be wizards, and he's gonna kill everybody who's not. Lucius Malfoy, Draco's father. Hate him arguably about as much as I hate Bellatrix and Umbridge. This guy sucks. Works for Voldemort, also works in the Ministry because he's rich and donates him all the time. He's basically the reason so much shit is able to happen within the Ministry and they're able to look the other way. And he's also the reason Draco is the way he is. Otherwise, Draco probably could have been a pretty respectable kid. Now we've got Luna Lovegood. She is the weirdest, most obscure character I think I've seen in a movie ever. Like, she bugs me. There's no way around it. Yeah, she's good. She's very good. She's very nice. She's very helpful, but she's so fucking weird. Like, ruins the vibe weird. Now we got Minerva McGonagall. A GOAT. She was the stern witch who cared so much about her job, but at the same time would drop anything she was doing to have Harry's back and be at his side within an instant. I mean this in the most complimentary way possible. She was a true boss-ass bitch. Now we've got Molly Weasley. Great. She's a great woman. A little bit annoying, but she's a great woman. Mr. Ollivander from the wand shop. He bothers me. How the fuck would you expect to give Harry the sibling wand of the wand that was used to kill his parents? Like, why would that even come to your head? Just a tone-deaf prick. Moaning Myrtle bothers me. She always scared me as a kid, man. A ghost girl that just spies on everybody, including men in the bathroom. I mean, the men shouldn't be in the woman's bathroom to begin with, but every time they're in there for an experiment or something, she's always there. She watched Harry take a damn bath. Now we've got Nagini. Voldemort's snake. He can also possess it. I don't think he's an animagus. I think he just possesses it. I mean, I don't know what to think of Nagini. I guess I hate him. Kills Snape, which really pissed me off. And now we've got Draco Malfoy's mom. She's great because she saved Harry's life. She's the reason that Harry was able to finish the story at the end there against Voldemort. Voldemort hits Harry with the curse, and when he's on the ground, he orders her to go over and check his pulse, where she asks him if Draco is still alive. Harry very, very slightly nods his head yes, because Harry made sure that Draco survived. Therefore, she tells Voldemort that Harry's dead, which allows Harry to come back at the end and kill him. Moving on, I know he's cut off here, but this is Neville Longbottom. He is a fantastic character. I'm not gonna say he's a goat because he's annoying in the first couple movies too. He's a huge, just a pussy tattletale. But then you start to learn more about his life and you see this coward of a kid turn into a pretty damn brave wizard towards the end. Moving on, we've got Wood. He's like the Quidditch captain or something. He was fine. All he gave a shit about was Quidditch, like all the time. Someone could die right in front of him and he'd just be concerned that he'd have a full squad for Quidditch. Now we've got Percy. I hate his guts. He sucks. He sucked since the beginning because he was always just a goody-good two-shoe, thought he was the best of the family. He confirms it by about the 4th book. That'll bring us to Wormtail. I mean, everybody should hate Wormtail. He's the reason Sirius Black was wrongly imprisoned, and he's the reason Sirius Black has not been able to live a normal life. He's also known as Peter Pettigrew, the guy that sold out Harry's parents' location to Voldemort and is also the reason they're dead. Now we've got Petunia. I hate her guts. She is terrible. Literally locked Harry in a closet for the first like 10 years of his life and then only let him out into a bedroom because they knew they were being watched. Professor Quirrell, who was Voldemort, well, a stupid professor who was tricked into being possessed by Voldemort. He bothers me because he was so stupid. And that'll bring us to Remus Lupin, a goat. He's a werewolf. He's also a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, an Auror. He's in the Order of the Phoenix. He's a literal badass, man, and he cares so much for Harry, and he teaches Harry one of the most important spells that helped Harry survive, which is none other than Expecto Patronum. That'll bring us to Rita Skeeter. Hate her guts. She's a journalist who just makes up lies about everybody for attention. Like, she's literally what Twitter is now. Now we've got Madam Hooch. She was fine. She was the flying teacher, just kind of a stern old woman, but she was okay. That'll bring us to Ronald Weasley. Ron's a goat. I do have a couple issues with him throughout the story when he gets jealous and he blames Harry for a lot of the wrong shit. But the moral of the story is that he's Harry's best friend and he always came back around when Harry needed him most. Now we've got Rubius Hagrid, obviously a goat. He's the caretaker for Hogwarts and he's just a gentle giant who basically takes Harry, Ron, and Hermione in as his own kids. I mean, essentially. Then we've got Seamus Finnegan. He bothers me. He's a big bitch. He was Harry's roommate, but then when the minister was telling everybody that Voldemort wasn't back, he believed his mom and was calling Harry a liar. Now we've got Snape. He's a goat. If you're in the first time watching the series, you're not going to understand it until the end, but once you get to the end, you're going to understand how fucking fantastic of a character in person Severus Snape was. You don't realize that through it all, through all the shit, through all the evil, through all the sinister, through all the Slytherin, through all the marking, through all the hazing, tampering, and bullying he appears to do to Harry, you do not understand that quite literally all of it is to save Harry, to teach Harry shit he needs to know in order to live. Now we've got Trelawney. She bothered me. She was a psycho. She's a teacher who teaches divination, which is like mind reading, fortune telling. She's a fraud. That's what she is. She's a teacher who doesn't actually know anything and she just guesses on everything and claims it's gonna be right. Then we've got Sirius Black. He is a goat. Pretty much Harry's only family that actually loves and cares for him. And finally, when he's on the cusp of getting free because everyone's gonna see that Voldemort's back, Bellatrix kills him. Then we've got Vernon Dursley. I hate him arguably about as much as I hate Umbridge and Bellatrix and Lucius. He is such an asshole, man. And ending, because I don't know who these two are, we got Victor Crumb, and I'm actually gonna say great because in the books, I think he's a lot better than he is in the movies. He has a lot more of a personality in the books, and he's actually, like, seems like a pretty nice guy in the books. Gotta understand in the end when he's cursing Cedric, he was possessed. It wasn't him. And ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be it for me ranking every character in Harry Potter. And that is also going to be all for today's video. So let me know in the comments where you agree and let me know in the comments where you disagree. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this edited so I can get packing and head on to Florida. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I plan to have another upload on Friday if I don't get a pre-record. But as always, take it easy and I will see you in the next video.